everyone. Okay, it's been a while since we've done a video. We were visiting family and then we came back at the beginning of September, and it's just been an adjustment trying to get into our routine again here. And we're going to be making some changes on our homeschooling routine, and I'll make a different video about that, kind of like a real quick turnaround, look at your last couple weeks review and how to make adjustments. But not in this video. This video, I just wanted to talk to you about why I decided to start making these videos. My YouTube page is called Cultivating Kinder, and that means cultivating children. Kinder is German, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that my husband has his mother's German, and he's got a whole bunch of German family, and I have German family too, but less close. So when I named it that, I wasn't thinking just academically cultivating our children, not just academically, but also spiritually in their lives, every aspect of them, how we as parents, we're their shepherds, and we're supposed to be cultivating them to live in the fullness that God has for them. So we can't really set them up for that if we aren't cultivating, pouring into them in all areas of life. And I would say that academic would probably be like in the middle of important things, and that their spiritual well-being is the most important thing. So I started doing these homeschool videos because I had a lot of questions from friends about how to homeschool, what we do, and I wanted to be helpful. And I saw the need, and I know there are a lot of other homeschool moms out there that are crazy influencers, and I love them. They're awesome. But I wanted to be able to answer the people who were asking me personally, and I just thought, well, maybe someone else will come across this and need to hear it too. So then I knew I always wanted to also talk about more spiritual stuff in videos, and I just haven't gotten around to do it, and I just keep feeling like I need to. And so this is going to be my first one. So with a caveat that everything I say, I hope that you do your own studying, and everything I say, look it up yourself and make sure that it's biblical truth and that it's sound, because I'm a human being and I might mess up in what I say unintentionally, or you might misunderstand what I'm saying. So make sure you back up everything I'm saying with biblical truth. I've done that myself. This is stuff that pertains to my children. So I want to make sure that when I'm telling them something, that it's sound doctrine and I'm not just making it up. But even though I'm saying that, I want you to do it yourself and make sure too before you talk to your kids. So right now, I got not a 4 and 5-year-old, 5 and 6-year-old. They're growing. And the fear of death is pretty big for a 5 and 6-year-old right now. So I wanted to speak truth into them about how they don't need to fear death, that Jesus is the master over death, and it's not anything they need to be afraid of. It's still a feeling of fear, and I get that, but as a child I was afraid of death so much. It dictated so much of my life, and I don't want them to live in that. I want them to be free of that fear and not have it hold them down. So lately they've been afraid of death. Of course, we've talked about heaven and how Jesus atoned for their sins, so it fixed our relationship with God. So if they believe that, then they are washed clean of their sins, and they will be in heaven with God. They understand that to their ability right now. As they get older, they'll understand it more. But it's a truth I speak into them now, because I am a big believer in you should always be speaking truth into them. Even if they don't fully understand it yet, they will. It'll click. It's just like learning a language. So, a lot deeper though. than learning a language. Anyway, so how was I going to speak truth in a way that they could understand about death? My daughter would ask me, like, am I going to be old? If I die as an old woman, am I going to be wrinkly in heaven? And I laugh because I used to think the same thing when I was little. So thankfully I could speak the truth that no, you won't be a wrinkly old woman in heaven. And so we talked about how in heaven we have new bodies, how sin has tainted the bodies that God gave us now, and they are not made for unity with God. They're not made for God's presence. So they're not made for eternity. And that from the time we're born, our bodies already start to decay because of sin, because of original sin. And we've talked all about that stuff. But it's such a weird thing for a 5- and 6-year-old to grasp and understand. And why do we get new bodies? That's so weird. So to give them a visual, I've got a really good example. I'm kind of proud of it. So I showed them this glass jar. You can use a cup, whatever, just some kind of container. And I asked them what it was. They said, it's a jar, Mom. Like, oh, you're so smart, it is a jar. And then I filled it with water. Let me just fill it with water real quick. All right, and then I said, okay, what's different now? And they said, you put water in it. I said, yep, I put water in it. Now, because there's water in it, does that now make the water the jar? And they looked at me confused and they're like, no, it's still water, it's just inside the jar. I said, yes, that's exactly right. It represents us. Our bodies are like this jar, and our souls are the water. Our bodies are the vessel. They're the container that holds our souls. And our bodies are important. They're a gift from God to hold us. So we need to take care of our bodies, and that is important. But it is not who we are. Our body is not who we are. And that might be like really anti-cultural to say right now, but it's the truth. Our bodies aren't who we are. And we need to kind of release ourselves from that physical tie down with our bodies. But we do need to take care of our bodies because they are still important. They're the temple which holds our soul. There is a wasp coming over here. Oh dear. I'm just gonna move for a second. Okay. Sorry. So, lost my train of thought because of the wasp. Okay. So they're still important. Our bodies are important, yes. They're a gift from God and we need to take care of them. But what's more important is our soul that's inside. And that is what's alive. We're not spiritually dead anymore because Christ died for us. He's the master over death, and our spirits are alive and made new. Now, our bodies, they're still tainted by sin. So that's why we get new bodies in heaven. Bodies that won't be tainted by sin anymore. But our spirits will still be us. We're still us. I think the fear was about them being dead. They're thinking about the body aspect, the physical aspect of their bodily death. You know, God made Adam from dust, and that's this part here. But he made Jesus from spirit, and that's the part that's inside, and that's the living part. And we need to speak that truth over our children so that they don't have any fear of death, because Jesus defeated it. So they might not fully understand all of that. They seem to understand a good bit of what I was saying, and as they get older, they'll grasp more and understand more. But it did put them at ease, and when that fear, it's not like that fear went away. You know, they'll still bring it up, and we still talk about it, but at least I have that visual and that truth to remind them of and give them a peace and reassure them and put their trust in God about that Jesus did defeat death and that they will be in heaven because they believe that, and because Jesus washed away our sins. Yeah, and our spirits are made new. Sorry, I'm just continuing that thought. But, so yeah, that's really helped us for that specific kind of fear. And there's a lot of other things that we talk about in relations to fear, but that's a big one that's going on in our house. And it might be a big one going on in your house right now. I don't know if COVID really plays a role in your children's day-to-day thoughts. Maybe they hear stuff from other kids or from the news or something, and it might stir up fear in them. We don't really watch that kind of stuff. Their more fear of death comes from our dog just recently passed away. So that's part of it, and they're less of fear about their own death, more so of mine. I don't know why me specifically. Hopefully this will help you if your children are going through something like this, or even yourself if you're fearful. I hope this encourages you and reminds you of the truth of that through Christ we are redeemed, and that yeah, there's no death that's a master over us, because Jesus defeated it and he is our master. All right, I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. Hopefully I will be able to post my other video here soon. I have to make time for it, but hopefully I will. And I hope that I can do more videos like this, because this is important to me, this kind of stuff. Kids ask us a lot of questions that we have no idea the answer to, and it's okay not to know the answer, and it's okay to tell them you don't know the answer. I think that honesty shows them just how human you are and how much you need Jesus too. That's what I tell my kids all the time when I mess up. I need Jesus just as much as you do, and I apologize, when I mess up. So when they ask me questions that I'm not prepared for and I really don't have the answer to at that time, I'll tell them. I'll say, that is an excellent question, and I'm going to look into that. Maybe we can look into that together, but I'm going to look into that, and I will let you know when I know and understand it too. Because it also helps them not feel so alone and not knowing things. But yeah. So don't be afraid to be able to say, I don't know, and then to look for it yourself. But don't leave it unanswered. You want them to come to you to seek, sorry, killing mosquitoes. I have to finish this video. You want them to come to you when they have those questions. I love that my children talk. We spend maybe the last 15 minutes they're awake, just chit-chatting and talking, because before we would read stories, we still read stories, say prayers, and put them to bed, and they would be like, ugh, their minds would just go crazy with all sorts of questions, and they were like laying down and thinking right before bed, and it would make us frustrated because we weren't making time for that. But we were like, it's bedtime. We said it's bedtime, and we had this desire for them to go to sleep, but they weren't mentally ready to yet. So now we've added in our bedtime routine time to sit and talk. So we'll do stories, and then we'll chit chat for a little bit and discuss their deep, crazy thoughts that they have right before bed. And it helps give them some peace before bed too. And then we'll say prayers, and then that's the end of their night. But yeah, all right. I hope you have a good Sunday, like I said before, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.